Hey everyone. I hope you're having a beautiful day. I'm super happy right now because we reached 20 subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, and I hope you learn a lot from my channel in the upcoming years. To celebrate this moment, today we will be learning about 3 different types of confettis and animate in After Effects. Let's take a look at what we are going to create. That looks amazing, right? Before we begin, make sure to hit the subscribe button for more amazing tutorials. So without any further ado, let's begin. Create a new composition. I will name this as Confetti Rain. Width is 1920 and the height is 1080, 25 frame rate. Time 2 seconds. Click OK. Right click here and create a new solid. I will name this as Confetti 1. Click OK. In the effects and presets, type in CC particle. Now drag the particle world effect to our solid like this. Now we have our particle effect applied to our solid. We will start creating our confetti. Take the time indicator to first frame and click the arrow button and go to particle effect. Keyframe the birth rate by pressing this timer icon and change it to 0. Now take the time indicator to second frame and change it to 0.5. Take the time indicator to 9th frame and keyframe the birth rate by clicking this keyframe icon. This time take the indicator to 10th frame and change it to 0. Now we have created that showering effect. In the effects and control panel, change the longevity to 3. It will increase the lifetime of our rain effect. That looks good. Go to producer and change the position Y to -0.61. Now we will push our effect in the Z space by changing the position Z to 0.60. Change the radius X to 0.910. Change the radius Z to 0.945. Now we have that perfect showering effect created. This time go to physics and change the animation to cone axis. Decrease the velocity to 0.10. Now that looks fast. To make it more realistic, we will increase the gravity to 0.70 and increase the resistance to 2. That looks good. Change the extra to 0.70. Go to the gravity vector, change it to 0.020. This time go to the particle and change the particle type to quad polygon. Now we created that ideal confetti effect. Increase that rotation speed around 750 and initial rotation to 433 and change the depth size to 0. Now we made it look like natural rain. Bump up the maximum opacity to 100. In the opacity map, make slope in the opacity graph like this. That looks good. Change the birth and death color to red. That looks great. Now we will add some glow to it. Go to effects panel and type in glow. Take the glow and drop it on our confetti solid. Increase the glow threshold a little. And glow radius to 29. As you see now we have that glowing effect on our confetti. Now as you see our effect consists of so little confetti. To increase that, take the time indicator to second frame. Increase the birth rate to 5. Now we have good amount of confetti. But as you can easily say, that this confetti is not spread enough to cover the whole place. To do that, in the producer go to radius Y and increase it around 0.330. As you see our confetti spread enough to cover the whole canvas. If I play it, that looks super awesome. Now we will create different shape of confetti, to make it looks more dynamic. Duplicate the solid by pressing Ctrl D. I will name this a confetti 2. Now take the time indicator to the second frame and decrease the birth rate to 2. Go to particle, and change the color to orange. If I play it, that looks great. We can change the shape of the confetti of our second layer by changing the particle type to tripolygon. As you see, that our shape's been turned into triangle confetti. To make this layer to differ from our first, increase the velocity a little and decrease the longevity a little. And also decrease the radius Y. Now if I play it, that looks great. You can still increase or decrease the position and the radius to make it more dynamic. Again duplicate the layer and this time change the color to blue. Change the particle type back to polygon. Again decrease the longevity to make differ from the other confettis. If I play it, now that looks super good. We finished creating our confetti rain effect. Now we will start creating our confetti cannon effect. Go to project panel and click this composition icon to create new composition. I will name it as confetti cannon. Click OK. We will create the same solid and name it as confetti 1. Go to effects panel and drag the CC particle world effect to our solid. Again take your time indicator to first frame and keyframe the birth rate, then change it to 0. Take the indicator to second frame and change the birth rate to 1. Take the indicator to 18th frame then keyframe it. Then take it to 19th frame then change it to 0. Now we have that in and out effect. Go to effects panel and increase the longevity to 1.20. That looks good. Decrease the position X to -0.12 in the producer. Then increase the position Y to 0.61. As you see, that our X and Y position are placed in the ideal area. Now push the Z position in, change it to 0.60. Now increase the radius X to 0.100 and radius Z to 0.500. That will make our confetti spread wide and far. Go to physics, change the animation to cone axis. And change the velocity to 3 and gravity to 0.250. If I play it. That looks good, but lot of particles. To decrease it, take the time indicator to second frame, and decrease the birth rate to 0.5. And change it in the 18th frame also. That looks good. Change the resistance to 0.5 and decrease the extra to 0.23. That looks great. Now change the particle type to quad polygon in the particle window. Again change the initial speed and rotation speed around 400 like this. Decrease the birth size to 0.150 and death size to 0. We will increase the volume shade to 100%. Again change the color to red. That's perfect. We will increase the longevity a little. Press P on your keyboard to bring the position and place the effect around the corner like this. Using rotate it tool, rotate it like this. That's good. Now we will add some glow, like we did for our confetti rain effect. Type glow and drag to our solid like this. Increase the threshold and radius until you start seeing the glow effect. Yeah, that looks really good. Now in the producer, decrease the radius X to 0.070. Now increase the maximum opacity to 100. And make a slope in the opacity map, like we did on our confetti rain. That looks perfect. Now duplicate the confetti layer by pressing Ctrl D. Again change the color to blue. Just increase and decrease the rotation R speed and initial rotation. Increase the longevity a little to make it differ from our first confetti layer, and make it looks more dynamic. Decrease the positive X and radius Y. Decrease the birth size a little. Change the particle type to line. As you see, there are huge amount of lines present. To decrease that, take the time indicator to second keyframe and decrease the birth size to 0.1. Now take the time indicator to 18th frame and change the keyframe to 0.1. Decrease the volume shape to 50% and longevity to 1.06. If I play it, that looks super awesome. Now again duplicate the confetti layer by pressing Ctrl D. In the newly duplicated layer, change the particle type to tripolygon. and change the color to yellow. In the producer, increase and decrease the position of XYZ a little to make it look differ from other confetti layers. Same goes to the radius. Let's play it and see the final effect. That looks really great. We finally finished creating our confetti cannon effect. Now we can start creating the confetti pop effect. Again, create a new composition and name it as confetti pop. Create a new solid again and name it as confetti 1. Drag the particle world to our solid. Take the time indicator to first frame and keyframe the birth rate, then change it to 0. Take it to second keyframe and change it to 1. Take the indicator to 6th frame and change it to 0. If I play it, we created the initial pop effect. We can decrease the longevity a little to 0.90. That looks good. In the producer, change the position Y to -0.12 and Z to 0.60. Again, change the radius X to 0.100 and radius Z to 0.500. In the physics, increase the velocity to 1.50 and gravity to 0.210 and resistance to 2. That's perfect. You can increase the extra if you want a little. Now change the particle to tripolygon. Now we have that triangle shape. Change the rotation speed to 450 and initial rotation to 422. Birth size to 0.150 and F size to 0. Increase the maximum opacity to 100 and again, make a slope in the graph of the opacity map. That looks great. Change the radius to 0.010 to make it look more realistic. Change the radius Z to 0.520. Increase the Z position to push it further into Z space. And change the volume shade to 50%. Then finally change the color for both birth and F to cyan. That looks perfect. Again, we will duplicate and follow the same steps we did in our preview confetti effect. Decrease the longevity and also radius Y and Z. And also position Y like this. Just change the velocity and gravity a little amount to make it look different from the first and second. Change the particle type to quad polygon. Change the color to blue for both. Just increase the position and radius Y, like this. If I play, you drag the layer a little to the right like this. That's perfect. Again, duplicate the layer by pressing Ctrl D. And we will do the same, just increase all the effects to make it look more dynamic. And change the particle type to line. Change the color to light blue. Just decrease the position and radius a little. That's super good. Just mess with the effects. Again, duplicate the layer. And change the color you want. This time change the particle type to line. Place the line layer below all the layer like this. Let's play it and see the final effect. That looks awesome. We finally finished creating all 3 confetti effects. This was one very long tutorial, but nevertheless, I hope you all learned something and gained some knowledge about the After Effects. If you have any doubts, feel free to comment in the comments section. I will reply to it as soon as I can. Hit the subscribe button for more amazing tutorials like this. And hit the like button if you enjoyed this tutorial. Until our next tutorial, stay happy. Thank you.